Hello, everyone. It's good to see you here. We'll get some others soon. I was a little late putting the thing up today. I'll explain why. So maybe some people haven't found it yet. Begin with the verse of the Kesa. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Excuse me. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present with us now. Fragrance of this incense fills our room, protects and guards our minds from wrong thinking. Fragrance of this incense unites us with precepts, concentration, and insight. We offer it for all beings. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I shall become one with the Buddha. I resolve that I shall each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I shall become one with the Dharma. The gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for guidance. I shall become one with the Sangha. In the spirit of universal fellowship and as a member of the Sangha, I pledge myself to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. "20-minute silent meditation tonight. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now, and offering flowers, candles, and incense, hearing the Dharma and training the mind, great merit is attained. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to the 16 guardians and all protectors of the Dharma and their relations throughout space and time, to all ancestors of this Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May penetrating light dispel the darkness of ignorance. Let all karma be resolved and the mind flower bloom in eternal spring. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of this Sangha. May their vows be fully realized, and may they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for those suffering from violence and those who grieve for them, for those living in oppression, for all who are imprisoned who should be free, for all refugees from violence, hunger, and catastrophe, man-made or natural. We pray for the health and well-being of those suffering from diseases of body, mind, or spirit, those working toward the healing of those afflictions, and those grieving for those lost to illness. May they be serene through all their troubles, and may we realize the enlightened way together. Sabe sata sadahantu avera sukha jivino katang punya phalang mahang sabe bagi bhavantu te. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May all share in the blessings that spring from the good we have done. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dee. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Nina. So if this were, if we were still meeting at the church in person, this would be one of those nights that I'd probably look to Neil or Brandon or Michelle and say, lead a discussion. Because I'm not really up to giving a Dharma talk tonight, to be honest with you. I'm fine. I'm just tired, and my brain is tired. Monday morning, I woke up. There was a voicemail that had come in at night while I was asleep, that we had had a significant tragic event on campus that was going to affect a lot of people in really traumatic ways. And so, you know, we've had those things before, but the last few times we were not in the middle of a global pandemic, and there were 3 chaplains, and now there's 1. And while things are better in terms of the pandemic, you know, we're still feeling the effects of loss of staff members and all kinds of stuff, not to the disease, but loss of, you know, just from the circumstance. So I've pretty much been in the weeds since about 6 o'clock Monday morning. So if I seem a little out of it, it's because I am. You know, I was some years ago, I was at a monastery some of you have probably visited, and for an event. And so my job at the event was to show up and talk for 20 minutes and, you know, have a good time. So it was pretty easy. But I got there, and the leader of this particular institution was visibly stressed out. And, you know, and I said, what's going on? Well, there were like twice as many people coming as they had planned for. And so the people who were dealing with, you know, all the logistics of everything, volunteers and what staff they had, so on, were freaking out. Everybody was mad at everybody, you know, all those things that happens to human beings at times like that, when things go in unexpected ways. And so he was stressed. And so I laughed and I said, you can't be stressed. You're a Zen master. Zen masters don't get stressed. And I laughed. So he knew I was joking. I was trying to make him laugh. He looked down his nose at me and he goes, we have to live in the world. So this is one of those weeks I've been living in the world. So there's actually a term for that. So there's this word that I don't think to use very often. And so a lot of you probably haven't heard it, maybe most of you, but there's this term, the Saha world, S-A-H-A, Saha world, which means the suffering of the world of stress, basically. It's this world. It's not the heavens. It's not, eternity. It's this temporary world where sometimes things don't go as expected. Things can go totally off the rails, for example. And, as a result, there is stress. And even if you're a Zen master, there is stress because this is the world where those things happen. There's a koan. I can't remember exactly the names of the people involved. This just occurred to me. If I'd thought about it in advance, I'd have looked it up, but I didn't. But there was a fox, and this fox came to a Zen master and said, I was asked centuries ago, does the arahant, does an enlightened being experience the effects of karma? And I answered no. And as a result of my answer, I've been reborn a fox, which I guess in ancient Chinese culture, a fox would have been considered a pretty lowly animal. But as a result, I've been born a fox over and over again for eons, for hundreds of rebirths. I've been a fox. He says, so let me ask you, does the enlightened one experience cause and effect, experience the results of karma? And the master said, well, yes. And as a result of this, the fox was reborn. Human being was able to, or I don't remember, was able to transcend, not coming back as a fox anymore. So, so we are, no matter how awake we become, we experience the results of being born into this body and into this world. So, and I mean, I'm not saying that I'm particularly awake, especially right now, but, but the fact is, even if we practice very diligently, we still live through difficult times. And as a result of that, we deal with what comes up. I actually, I'm going to read you something. This is from the book with Bernie Glassman and Jeff Bridges, Bernie Glassman Roshi. And those of you, I've probably quoted from this before. So Glassman was the founder of Zen Peacemakers International, and he's if you look at my lineage chart on Soto Zen, he's up here. He's just a few guys up from my name. So they're the same lineage. And Jeff Bridges is the actor. Was a student of his, and he's the guy who played the dude in that movie with the dude in it. I suddenly can't remember the name of the movie. Oh, The Big Lebowski. And so it's this conversation they had about Buddhism. Bridges was a student of Glassman's. Glassman passed away not too terribly long ago, before COVID. Yeah, Big Lebowski. Anyway, I like what he says, what Bernie is saying here, is they're talking about dealing with life and life's ups and downs and the realities of life. And Bernie says, so how do I just let it all be? Bear witness and get into the swing. So bearing witness is one of the three tenets of Zen Peacemakers. And it means just, going into a situation without knowing what should be in order to experience what it actually is. He says, so how do I let it all be? Bear witness, get into the swing. He says, I love Ellington's tune, "It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing." He says, just let it be.
bear witness to the voices and the instruments, whether it's a jazz band or life, and then move with them, flow with them. You can do that, then you'll be a lot happier, because in life you're always in a band and always swinging. You're not forcing anything, you're not being forced, you just flow. Like T-Bone Burnett said, people think that, which must refer to something that Bridges said earlier, I don't remember. It says, like T-Bone said, people think that if you're not figuring it out and forcing it in certain ways, you're not going to get things done. The opposite is true. You'll get more done because you're allowing creativity to flow. To paraphrase Lin Ji, the founder of the Rinzai School of Zen, the whole world is a puppet stage, so who's pulling the strings? If you're in there pulling the strings and telling people what they have to do, it's not going to be a great puppet show. There's some stuff in there that's just really, really interesting. Bear witness to the voices and the instruments, whether it's a jazz band or life, and then move with them, flow with them. You're always in a band and you're always swinging. That's so, like, I'm not that good a musician that I could play jazz, but that's the way jazz works. You improvise with one another, and you improvise in a way that creates something interesting and harmonious. And, sometimes there's dissonance and you work with that. There's a few improvisers who are famous for making mistakes and then taking off from those mistakes in really interesting ways. I remember reading a critical understanding of Jimi Hendrix one time. He was a famous improviser, an amazing guitar player, and the person who was writing this thing about him saying, it's incredible. He makes mistakes and then he repeats his mistakes so he can turn them into something beautiful. And that's a lot of times that's what our practice is like. We make mistakes and then we look and go, how can we make that work out? It's interesting. We had a new guy. I did manage to make it yesterday to the prison. We had a new guy there, and he was talking about, he had just kind of gotten interested in Buddhism. I think he'd read something, and he came with somebody who has been coming to the group for a while. And, he was talking about mistakes as if that's something that you don't want to do, And the reality is, being human beings, it is our nature to make mistakes. That is exactly what makes us human, is our mistakes, Otherwise we'd be gods, or we'd just be flat out evil. The fact that we want to do good and yet we screw up, and then we have to try to work with the screw ups that we made and try to turn that into something beautiful. I mean, that's spiritual practice right there. You live down in the muck that the lotus, I told him the lotus simile, lotuses are rooted in the mud. You can't have a lotus if you don't have any mud. You can't really have a spiritual practice if you don't have some muck to rise up out of. That's what nurtures it. So, great realization always arises out of pain and suffering and mistakes, and then taking the mistakes and trying to turn it into something beautiful. So like Glassman said, you're in a band. You're always in a band. So make it swing. Now, that doesn't mean that sometimes it won't be uncomfortable, because, it will. Especially when something really bad happens. There's once in a while you'll read something from some Dharma teacher who talks like there's nothing good and nothing bad. And, it's all just the same thing. Horse shit. Bad things happen. People suffer. And there's, you don't turn that into good, but, you don't have to get mired in it either. You can, live your life authentically and acknowledge that sometimes bad things happen and good things happen too. And don't let either of them hook you hang you up. Live freely, swing with the band. Sometimes you break a string. Sometimes your guitar gets ripped off, but you can still make music as long as you've got that in your heart. I like this. The whole world is a puppet stage. So who's pulling the strings? We try to control things. We try to control other people. We try to control ourselves. We try to control what arises in our mind, what we become aware of, all of those things. Watch the show, and then you can participate in it. You don't have to pull the strings, just be a part of the show. Really good puppet shows, I think in the old classical sense, when they would do them for kids, there was always some form of audience improvisation, audience participation involved that required some improvisation. Not sure this is true, but I think it's true. And so that's what happens. If you try to control each and everything that happens, you end up with something that's real stale. So even if you do, I used to do some theater. Even if you're doing a script where everything is scripted, there's still accidents. And sometimes those accidents are amazing. And sometimes you try different choices and things grow over the source of time. If not, man, it would just get so stale, so boring. So anyway, so that's pretty much, that's actually more than I intended to say tonight. So yeah, I got on a little bit of a roll. There are a couple of things, though, that I do want to talk to you about. So there is a retreat at White Sands this Sunday, one-day retreat. If you are planning to go, yeah, thank you, Dee. And make sure that you've registered. So they're limiting how many people can be in the temple. So don't just show up out there because you might not be able to get in. So just check with them before you go out. The other thing is it's an opportunity has come up, which I'm not going to tell you about in any detail, but I'll let you know that this opportunity has come up, possibly for us to start meeting again in person at a place where there is some tech available so that we could also live stream. So very early talking about stages. Somebody approached me and said, we have this space, we have this stuff. We think it'd be good for you guys to be there. And so I'm trying to arrange to get over. I haven't seen this space, I haven't seen the tech, but this is a possibility. So don't get your hopes up too much, but I'm not going to stop live streaming. So if we could move to in person, great, but I want to be in person and hybrid so that we don't end up leaving by the wayside people who have become a part of our community who may not be able to make it to meetings and to land on Wednesday nights and that sort of thing. So anyway, let me know how you feel about that kind of stuff. And I'll keep you in the loop about what's likely to happen. So, and I'm kind of hoping maybe that we can do something together in one way, shape, or form on December 8th. So December 8th is special in Japanese Buddhism. It's called Bodhi Day, or there's different terms to refer to it, Rohatsu. And it's basically when the Japanese people celebrate the Buddha's enlightenment. And it happens to be on Wednesday night. So I'm kind of hoping we can do something on Wednesday, December 8th, maybe to start things back up. But again, don't get your hopes up. But let me know, if you have thoughts on this subject one way or the other. Email me stuff, and I'll keep you in the loop as things develop. So thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to cut it a little bit short tonight. But and I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just tired. It's just been I'm just tired. And so I will see you tomorrow if you're on Zoom. I'll see you Sunday if you're at White Sands. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, next Wednesday. All right. Have a good night.